Hi, thank you for agreeing to do this interview. Just as a reminder, this interview is part of a project to highlight the experiences of girls in robotics. Whether you're on an all-girls team or one of the few girls on a co-ed team, we want to capture your voice, your challenges, your leadership, your growth to help make robotics more inclusive and representative for everybody. We're going to start with an introduction of you. So, what's your name, your role in the team, and how long have you been involved with robotics, and how did you get involved?
My name is Isha Patil. I'm the director of system design on an FRC team called Future Martians, and this is my seventh year in robotics. And I first got involved with my elementary school's FLL team.
Very nice. Second question. So, how would you describe your experience as a girl on a co-ed team in one word and why?
I'd probably describe it as transformative because when I first got involved in robotics, I was just doing it out of like sheer curiosity. But as I become part of this community, I've like learned not only technical skills, but also how to succeed as a girl in a male-dominated field and how to build that confidence and assert yourself and show that you're capable.
It's a very nice answer. So, that's all we have for introduction. Moving into part two, which is focusing on your experiences in robotics. When you first joined, how were you treated and how did that shape your role on the team? This could be when you first started out or when you first joined your FRC team, just in general, how were you treated and then how did that shape your role in whatever team?
So when I first joined the FRC team I'm on right now, I was only one of two girls on the entire team, and I was definitely treated politely, but I felt like at times other people on the team, like guys specifically, didn't really want to work with me just because I was a girl and maybe it was harder for them to accept that. And I felt like I also had to push for being part of the technical aspect of things instead of kind of being pushed into business and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, but I still take part in those aspects, but I've grown into a role of like more technical skill, and I feel like that's where I belong the most.
It's very, very nice. Like we've been hearing like a lot of the same stuff about how, really have to pave your way like as a girl on a co-ed team. I think we interviewed Aditi as well from Future Martians
Yeah.
last week, so she had similar things to say.
Mhm.
Second question, have you ever felt like you had to prove yourself more than your male teammates? I know you kind of just talked about it, but is there any like experience or instance specifically where you felt like you had to prove yourself?
I think there's just like a general pattern of like girls really have to show their knowledge and almost prove that they belong there in a place where people do stuff like robotics and engineering in general, whereas guys are kind of just given that respect automatically. And I've seen that like throughout my entire journey in robotics, even when I was a little kid to now. But yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the same stuff we've been hearing. Have you ever been pushed towards like a non-technical or like support role? I know that you just kind of answered this, but was it just all of the people on the team were kind of pushing you there, or was it this one specific like guy perhaps that was just saying, okay, you have to be in like a business role?
In when I was little, definitely like in FLL, definitely like guys would push me towards business roles like very strongly. But even now, even in the technical side, sometimes I feel like maybe they were giving me more like mindless tasks, like just mindlessly assembling something where I'm just following somebody else's instructions instead of actually creating ideas of my own. But I've dealt with that with kind of like very strongly pushing that I want to do what I want to do and like they can't kind of just like tell me what to do and I don't want to do that.
That's really good. I'm really glad you're standing up for yourself. I've met a lot of, girls on robotics teams who are not willing to do that for themselves. So good that you're doing that. Last question in this part. So what's one robotics achievement that you're especially proud of? So something that you worked hard for.
Kind of connecting to what I just said, one thing I'm particularly proud of is designing one of our robot subsystems last year, like all by myself. Because I feel like before, whenever I would work on something like that, it would just be me shadowing someone almost and like following their lead. But with this, I felt like I took on that role, and it was the first like big design role that I took on, and I'm really proud of it.
That's very nice. Yeah. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So, last part in this interview, this is focusing on like the reflection, just reflecting as robotics as a whole. First question. So, how has robotics shaped how you see your future in STEM?
It's definitely showed me that I really want to go into a career involving engineering. I think there's lots of options, so I still need to decide on which one. But actually, like when I was little, I wanted to be a doctor, especially because a lot of the women I were seeing were becoming doctors, and like sometimes it's like either doctor or engineer. So I thought doctor is better, but now I realize that like engineering is where I really fit in and like where I have the most experience and have the most fun.
Yeah, it's really nice. Second question. What's one thing you'd change to make robotics as a whole more supportive and more equitable for girls?
I'd probably say just having more women in leadership and also like having more access to female mentors. Because as a girl, I think it's really inspiring to see other girls to look up to instead of just seeing like the main source of knowledge as being guys. If there's a woman who's taking on that same role, it just shows that that's actually like it can happen and women are capable of that.
I definitely agree with you on that. Yeah, coming from like having male mentors for a while, yeah, having a girl in that aspect just to look up to would be really, really awesome. So just last question of the interview. What's one thing you would want to leave other girls, especially just thinking about joining robotics, to just know in general about, being in robotics?
I'd say definitely like just don't be afraid to speak up and ask questions. I feel like a lot of girls don't speak up and they don't share their ideas because they're scared they'll be viewed as less capable or their ideas will be automatically dismissed. But that's like not right at all. And making an effort to learn and understand something is never embarrassing. And like not everybody's gonna agree with you, but that's how you build credibility and how you form like a better mind that can create better ideas.
Yeah, that's an amazing answer. Well, that's all we have. Thank you so much for doing this interview. Thank you for willing to share your experiences, and we'll look forward to, maybe talking with you soon.
Thank you for
Mhm.